Hey guys, Cyndi Williams. Good morning. I'm super excited today, but do you like my owl? I'm traveling, so I'm actually in the travel agency just outside of Houston today, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything fall themed, and then I was just getting adjusted here in the morning, and I found this little jewel. Do you guys love this? One of my travel agents, Cyndi Williams, she's not just an amazing travel agent, but she actually painted this for a gift for me one year because I love owls. So we have a little fall stuff. I don't know if I can set it up where we can see it in the way. We'll put her back there so she looks cute. She can provide a little bit of holiday flair. We'll adjust our setting here. So we're just waiting for people to get logged on. I'm going to wait just a second here. It usually takes a minute or two for people to jump on the live stream, and want to make sure we're streaming over to Facebook. So let me check that real quick, and then we will get started on today's exciting session. Let us see. Yes, I see us over there. Good. So as you guys pop on, if you wouldn't mind just throwing a comment in, that will help me see that we're streaming. Okay, Mert's like, you are, yay. Okay, thank you, Mert. I appreciate it. So good. All right, I'm going to expand this screen so I don't have to look at 5 versions of myself. This can be so bizarre. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. All right, so today, hey Christine, how was Cuba? We have to catch up later. Hey Becky, good morning. So today is part 4 of Fall Back in Love with Your Travel Business, our series for October. Hey Jess, good morning. All my clients are on today. I'm loving this. Hey Kenya, I saw you in there. You guys are going so fast I can't catch all your names. If I missed one, I'm sorry. So we're in part 4 of the series, and this week is things that scare you about your travel business. Hey Faye! So we're gonna dig in here in just a minute. First, if you guys are new to the live stream, I'd like to just say welcome. My name is Cyndi Williams. I'm known as the Travel Career Coach. At Wanderlust CEO is my handle on Instagram. And my life's purpose is to motivate and inspire people to follow their bliss into abundance. Like, you can follow your bliss, but let's make money while we're doing it, right? And one of the ways that I do that is this live stream, and I also run a program called Careers on Vacation, where I do consulting for people who are either travel agents or agency owners or want to get their businesses started. So that's a little bit about me. And I usually have a fun coffee mug because I love coffee mugs, and purple is my favorite color, but I have this boring hotel coffee this morning because I'm staying at a hotel across the street because I drove in from Austin yesterday. So at any rate, I ran a poll, right, on our Careers on Vacation group. If you're not already in there, request to join. It's our private community to support those of you in the travel industry and to help you and provide different fun training and guidance, and a community that's supportive of each other, okay? But in the Careers on Vacation group, I posted a poll and I said, hey, I'm preparing for this session and I want to hear what scares you guys about your business so I can really have a session where you can get some value and find out. I see some of the people that were participating in the poll have tuned in today because they know I'm going to talk about stuff that they care about. And I was kind of surprised by the responses. So we had, marketing, automation, we had all this stuff on there. And the number one fear was that block of dealing with clients of why would anyone work with me? Right? And so by a long shot, I think it had 30 votes compared to the next one, which was automation, and that one was 24. So it's kind of that voice in your head. So my goal for today is really to help you face those fears. First of all, help you identify, give you some tools to how am I standing in my own way? Okay. How do I face off with these fears? And then give you some strategies and tools to deal with them so you can move past it and you can grow and have the abundance that you want out of your travel business, right? So we're going to tackle the top 2, which first one is that darn voice in your head. First of all, where does that voice come from? Let's think about that. So do you guys love my little notes from the hotel? Literally, I wrote the entire pad for the agenda today. I'm like, I'm a trainer at heart, right? I've been training travel agents since 25 years ago, but I always have my agenda, whether it's handwritten notes or not. So if you see me ripping off pages, it's my well thought out notes that I wrote out this morning after a wonderful cup of coffee. So, but where do those voices come from? What's the origination point? So sometimes there's some value in determining that. Sometimes it comes from childhood. Someone, because when we're children, we get treated differently. When you're an adult, everyone wants you to show up and be amazing and be a self-starter. When you're a kid, they're like, sit down, shut up, and do what I say. So when you grow up, right, with these parameters, and then you get into adulthood and you're like, wait a second, I'm supposed to be obedient. I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to have you have to switch that at some point in your growth. And dependent on childhood experiences, you could have formed some limiting beliefs about yourself that are causing you to have that voice in your head of like, why would anyone book travel through me? Like, why would they go through me when there's obviously all these other amazing agents, or there's all these other, so first we have to like think about maybe where that's coming from. Hey guys, there's too many popping in, I can't see your names, but hello, hey Karen. So last week, if you missed the live stream last week, I gave a scenario and I talked about how they tie big ropes around elephant babies, their foot, right, when they're little, and to create when they're young this beliefs, because the elephant tries to get away. I'm in captivity. I don't want to get out, and they try to struggle and they pull on the rope, but they give up and they figure out like this rope's not moving. I'm not going to budge. So this is the parameters I have to stay in. So the baby elephant forms a belief that it cannot break the rope around its ankle, right? So it's the same thing with us. And then when it grows up, all they have to do is tie that little rope around. So figuring out what's the rope around my ankle, right? So the first step is think about, maybe where it came from, but then also realize like I'm not a 7-year-old anymore. So just because Billy told me I was stupid or I flunked chemistry or whatever thing could have happened in your life that created a limiting belief for you, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, think about that piece and like, can I move past this? I'm not a 7-year-old anymore, right? And it's not always as easy, and that's why we're going to talk about tools and strategy. But you've got to take that first step of identifying like what are those things. So here's some ways to identify it outside of thinking back, because sometimes we don't realize it until it shows up in a different way in our life. Censor the thoughts in your head, right? So on a regular basis, like you said, you're having that voice, right? Oh, why would these darn people book through me when they could book through someone else? Every time that pops up, you have to replace it with a better thought. So you have to learn to recognize. But the first step is to just censor, like, what am I saying to myself on a daily basis? And my daughter's going through this process right now. She's in junior high, right? And so I'm working with her on and she's reading some things that I've read in the past, and we're working on this together, but she has this process where on one hand, she'll put a little dot when she has a certain thought, and then when she has a positive thought, she'll put it over here. And when the negative one comes up, then she can replace it with a sentence or what she wants to kind of show up in her life. And you can do the same thing. So if your thought is, oh, this lady's never going to book with me, you need to replace that with, of course this lady's going to book with me. I gave her amazing options, and it's just a matter of making the appointment and grabbing that credit card. Why wouldn't she book this? This is an amazing deal, right? So it's when you recognize, but the first step is sometimes when people do this process, I want you to take like 1 or 2 days and just be cognizant of the thoughts that pop in your head. Normally you're not cognizant because you just let them run, and sometimes they've been running you over for years and you don't even realize they're there. I'm not pretty, I'm not smart, I'm not, so you're constantly doing that to yourself. So recognize what the patterns are. Think about it like a record player. This is what I tell my clients. Think about it like a record player. You have a record player constantly going on in your brain. So if you have all of those limiting beliefs playing on a regular basis, you need to take that record off and replace it with a new version of what you want to show up in your life. So that's kind of the first step and the first tool that you can use. Well, when you think about creating your new story, how do you want people to see you? Start there. Do you want people to see you as a specialist in a certain area? Do you want people to see you as a organized, well thought out, efficient, amazing travel agent? So think about how you want people to see you, and then start embodying that in your conversations, in your actions, in how you draft an email, in your how you put your marketing together. Like, it's a whole full circle. So where you want to be a couple months from now, because this is something really, if you work on it, you can switch it in a short amount of time. So think about who is that person that you want them to see you as, and then you have to start putting that new record player on and changing the way you interact with people, changing the way you interface, and that's another tool for you there as well. Another thing I want you to do is, for those of you who are moms or dads and you have kids, I want you to think about, what if it was your child in this situation? Hey, Chesha, good to see you. What if it was like my daughter's in junior high, right? So when she comes home and she's like, blah, 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 and, she's like, I have this bad feeling about myself, I'm all on it, right? Like, well, let me get her through this. But then if the next day I'm like, I'm just not good enough to make that happen, or I'm just not good enough to do this, or blah, blah, blah. So I want you to love yourself the same way you love your children or your best friend or your wife or husband, right? In a way that, because we always put those people a lot of times above ourselves, and we can see, right? We can see where they're holding themselves back. And out of love, we're constantly trying to help them, encourage them. So why are you not doing that for yourself? So when you have that thought next time of, oh, I'm not smart enough to do this, I want you to be a mom to yourself or a dad to yourself, right? So, hey, Cyndi, really, like, you've accomplished so much in your life. You can't do this. I believe in you. You can do this. You got this. So treat yourself with the same care, love, and respect that you do for your children, best friends, spouses, partners. And that you'll see a shift, because we don't do that for ourselves. The other thing is, if you could show your daughter or son themselves through your eyes, you would change their world, right? If you could see yourself through your partner's, children's, best friend's eyes, it would be like, that's not how I see myself, because you have this negative dialogue. So the next actionable thing that you can do is go to your close friends and family, or even your kids. Kids have no filter, so they're great, and say, where do you think I'm limiting myself? Where do you think mommy's holding herself back, or your spouse? Just be honest with me, and be ready for anything that they're going to say, because feedback is feedback. You can take it or leave it. But a lot of times, some beautiful conversations and some beautiful dialogue will come out of, I think you would be amazing. I mean, you've traveled on all these vacations. Yes, you're new to being a travel agent, but you have all this experience. Why aren't you giving yourself credit for that? Or whatever conversations can come into play. But that's a beautiful tool to get a real review of how other people see you. And I guarantee you it's 1000% different than how you see yourself. We used to do these things in the corporate world called circle reviews. Oh my God. So with circle reviews, when I was heading up HR, we had to go out to every executive, and they had to review all the other executives on what their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities. Now that was in more of like a corporate, like there wasn't a lot of love, but it gave every executive a really clear view of, wow, people see me as a really strong leader. They see me as a strong communicator. Sometimes, though, they see me as disorganized. So but it gave them tangible things that they could work on, right? So that's a beautiful tool to kind of get a better grasp of how you should feel about yourself. And then I think we'll give you the first steps to kind of putting that new record together. What do you want to be on the new record, and how do you put that and introduce that in? I had a story. Yes. So, for those of you who follow me on social and stuff like that, you know that I used to run a cleaning franchise with my husband, and we had travel. So we were doing travel and we had cleaning franchise, right? We have all this irons in the fire. Our cleaning franchise is super, super successful, but I just really didn't love doing it anymore. And, we paid a consultant to come in, and he's like, I just want to see the inner workings of your business. And we wanted him to say, how do we move the business forward, or do we want to make the decision to, figure out our exit plan kind of thing. Cause it made a lot of money, and at first we're like, do we give it up? Do we not? But we didn't love it anymore. So anyway, we brought this high paid, expensive consultant in, and two words that he said to me was worth 10 times the money that we paid him, because it literally changed my life. He said, I want to see how you interact with your sales team. So I brought in the whole team. These people are, they're in charge of selling cleaning service, right? So not sexy. It's not travel, not nearly as exciting. And I was like, all right, let's do our weekly sales meeting. And I went through, just a strategy and pumping my team up and that whole thing. And when the meeting was done, he was just taking notes, and like 2 or 3 days later after he had gone through and looked at all the stuff in our business, and he said, I don't know what the next thing for you is, Cyndi. He said, but after watching how you interacted with your team and that sales meeting, he said, I just want to leave you with, you need to think bigger. And I was like, think bigger. Like, we already have this company that's generating like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And he's like, look, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's working for a gallery. I don't know if it's creating a program. I don't know if he's like, but whatever it is, follow your passion and just think, don't put a limit. Like, think bigger about your life. Like, you're capable of doing anything. And it kind of just like rung in my ears for like weeks. Like, what, think bigger, think bigger, think bigger. And then I was like, I am not living up to my potential. I'm not following my passion. That's why I'm feeling stuck and limited and all that stuff. So it helped me, this conversation, you can do it with friends and family, so it's free, but that was worth all of the money, because that was the seed that was planted for Careers on Vacation and why I'm supporting every single one of you today. That was the seed for our travel school, right? And consulting and things that we do. So I was like, what do I want to do? And went on. But unless I had that switch in how I saw myself, I don't know that we'd be sitting here right now and you got all these people would be watching me, right? So do that exercise with your friends and family, and remember to think about yourself as if you are your own child. Treat yourself with that same love and care. That is, my best advice. So identifying the limit, to recap, identifying what those limiting beliefs are, replace it with a better story, thought, image. Okay, so you have to get clear on what you want to be and how you want people to see you. And then stay diligent. That's the other thing. If you do it for a week, it's not going to work. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the astronaut exercise. You can go back and watch that live stream because we have limited story time. But basically, you have to keep working at this. This is nothing more than mindset. Whether you are a CEO that's a bazillion billionaire, right? They work on the same stuff. My job when I was in corporate, my job used to go in and work on succession planning at all levels, from executive down to VPs, and work with people on getting them past their gaps in their mindset and things like that. And the same mindset limits that challenge someone who is a waitress or works at Target. They're the same types of limiting beliefs that executives that are already making millions of dollars a year have. We all have this stuff to work on. No one is immune. You see someone and you think, oh, they're even me, right? Like, you're like, oh, Cyndi, she is da 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 da. You might be all impressed with all the success. On a daily basis, I am checking in with my mindset to make sure, am I clear with my intentions? Am I staying on track? Am I holding myself accountable? Blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't go away. This is like part of your job as an entrepreneur and a business owner. And I know you guys work, hey Rita, I know you guys work solo a lot, and it can feel super, super lonely. So like who's on your team to help you with that process? And that's the other step about this too. Like, if you have a lot of negative people around you, I'm a big on saying protect your circle. So what I mean by that is you're the average of the 5 closest people to you. So check and see who's on your favorites on your cell phone right now. Do they fan your fire? Do they lift you up? Do they encourage you? And look, sometimes friends and family are not the most encouraging. It's not because they don't love you. It's because, the ego has this thing where it's like wants you to be safe and wants you to be protected. So when you do things like what they consider taking a risk, or, ooh, I don't know about this business, they're just nervous about it. And from their heart of hearts, they're just trying to keep you in what they consider a safe zone. But if that's not your vision for your life and that's not your passion, you have to limit the interactions with those people, because that will it'll slow you down. So then you have to find a community a tribe that is going to support you, or a close friend. And because you guys are solopreneurs, that's why it's tough. So if you're not already in Careers on Vacation group, it's totally free. Request to join. That's a beautiful community. And we have, like, it's in our rules. Like, we have a 100% positive, like, there's enough abundance for all of us. So there's no negativity. We're here to support. We're here to be there for each other. That is the goal with Careers on Vacation, because in my core, I know travel is a $1 trillion industry. It's not a competition thing. So if you don't have a lot of resources, consider becoming part of that community. That's a good idea as well. So identify it, replace it with better, stay diligent. You are the author of your life. When you were a kid, people told you, a story of who you were. You're this, you're that. Oh, I bet you would be good at this, blah, 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 blah. You're an adult now. You get to be the author of your life. So figure out how you want to write your story, and then take these steps to get your mindset going in the right place. The other thing I want to say from a specific travel perspective, those of you who have 18 certifications started on your desktop, you know who you are. I see you, right? Do sometimes you feel like, if I take another certification, then I'll be an expert. I can feel like I'm an expert. I can feel like I can talk about it better. Sometimes when I work with clients, they get into this pattern of learning without earning. Learning without earning mode. So they take certification after certification after certification, and they still have that voice in their head that says, who am I to be selling Jamaica? Even though I've taken 32, at some point you have to call yourself an expert, okay? You have to give yourself permission. So when I worked in brick and mortar, right? So way back in the 90s when I started 25 years ago this spring, you would go through domestic training. You started there, and then you would go through a 3-day upgrade training, and then you would be a Mexico Caribbean specialist. And then like a year later or 6 months later, you go through international training, then you'd be an international specialist. If you wanted to work in the cruise department, you go through cruise training, you were a cruise specialist, right? So they would give you this little magic certification. They would say, ta-da, you are now this. So the company tells you that, so that's what you are. But in today, fast forward 25 years, we're in a situation where you are the CEO, you're the travel agent, you're the accountant, you're the everything. So do yourself a favor, be the training manager and say, congratulations, you are now an Alaskan cruise specialist. Congratulations, you are now a guided tour specialist. Congratulations, whatever. You have to do the learning and do the work, but if you've done that, give yourself the credit for that and get on with it and start selling some stuff. Don't just keep taking certification after certification and then going, well, I've never booked one before. Guess what? When we walked out of that classroom and we had never booked a St. Martin or whatever for Mexico Caribbean training, I was a specialist. So I'm going to get on the phone. It's just like anything else, and I'm going to book that because I'm a specialist in that area now. It's not like, it's not different from booking anything else, as long as if you feel confident in the pieces of going through the training, knowing the education, and doing that, okay? So you guys have to do that for yourself so you don't get stuck in that learning without earning. The other thing is, if you are brand new, and that's where people get stuck too, they're like, oh, I've only been in the industry a couple months, or maybe you're just starting, or maybe you've been in it 2 years, but you haven't booked very much. You have to give yourself credit for your life experience, right? So just because there are plenty of travel agents who've never been to Cuba. Cuba's a perfect example. But they're selling the crap out of it because it's a new market and they went and learned about it, and they're a good travel agent. And if they can sell one, if you can sell a pair of shoes, you can sell a purse. If you sell a purse, you can sell a trip, right? So salespeople are salespeople in terms of, they get what they need to know in terms of the knowledge, and then they can sell it. So that even though they haven't been there, but if you have been there, right? Let's say you went before you became a travel agent, recently or whatever, then you're just as much an expert having had feet on the ground and eyes on the ground in that destination and live in that place of your experience. I'll share a secret with y'all in terms of like my life as an expert advocate, travel industry expert advocate. Just because you've been in the travel industry or started in the travel industry 25 years ago doesn't make you an expert in how to help people scale their businesses. So when I brought the worlds together of like, okay, yes, I've sold millions of dollars in travel as $1 million salesperson year after year after year. But the real magic of what I do as a consultant and in our Careers on Vacation mastermind, I also worked for a travel marketing company. I also ran my own small business for 10 years, and I had to learn so much about the online marketplace of how to market online, how to leverage Facebook, how to leverage Instagram, that marketing piece, taking that and translating it for the travel industry is when everything blew up, right? Because most travel agents are doing a certain thing and they're doing friends and family and they're doing this little, homegrown duct taped marketing approach. But I was responsible in my other business for nearly $1 million over that 10 years of spending my own money on marketing. So I had to damn sure make sure that every dollar was stretched as far as it could be. So that's why we really got good at our marketing strategy. So I took what I learned in corporate, applied it to small business, took the small business, learning all the online marketing, and translated it for the travel industry. Magic, right? So I'm an expert 50%, not because of my experience in the industry, but I gave myself credit, right? That I produced a 7-figure business year after year after year with my marketing and then married the two, right? So I recognized and gave myself credit for that and created the program, and the rest is history, right? So whatever your life experience is, maybe you worked for sales in a different industry. Maybe you have just traveled a lot. You have to give yourself credit for that. If you don't, no one else is going to. So positioning yourself as an expert can be done in many different ways. Even when you're starting as new, though, when you're starting brand new or you're newer into the industry, those are the things that I would recommend you think about. Like, maybe I haven't been a travel agent that long in terms of the structural process of booking A, B, C, D, but those are, that's operations. Like, that can be learned. If you had to go tomorrow and learn how to work at Target, they would teach you, like, how to help people, how to greet people, how to run the scanner. You just have to learn the operations, right? It doesn't make you incapable of being a Target employee or whatever. Same thing with a travel agency. You're learning the operation stuff, and there might be some kinks that you have to work through, but give yourself credit for working all the places you've worked, traveled all the places you've traveled, okay? So that's the, darn voice in my head. Those are my best tips and stories, and specifically what I see when we work with clients. The next one is going to be a long session today, y'all, but I have so much good fired up information for you. The next one that was second on the poll, was just following it, was I know I need to automate, but where do I start? I don't speak tech. And this is so common because a lot of times when, my job's to go in and help people make the most money in the least amount of time. So when I start working with a new client in our mastermind, I go through a list. So I'm going to give you that list right now so you can think about it for your business. But the first thing I ask is, tell me, actually, I got ahead of myself, but let me back up just a second. I promise I'll get to the list. But first of all, how do you know if you need automation? Maybe that wasn't your top one, but you're still watching the live stream. How to tell if you're ready or that you need automation. One is if you're repeating a lot of tasks in your business that are causing you time and money leaks, that's a sign that you need automation somewhere. If your data is not organized, if your data's all over the place, you have client files or Excel files, things like that, your finances are, not in QuickBooks, or they're all over the place too, or you spend too much time on low-level tasks that are killing your productivity. Those are ways to tell if you are ready or if you really need automation to move your business forward. So back to the list. When I work with new clients, the first thing I usually ask them on their first private call that they get, where we really start digging into their business, is, how do you handle your data? Where is your data today? So, because if your data is not organized properly, it is going to impact their ability to market. It is going to impact their ability to connect with their clients. It's going to it's the first step. You have to have that data automated in a way that you can build sales funnels so you can retarget in your marketing. So those are things that are higher level and would require lots more live streams. But those are things we dig in with the clients. But if the data part isn't right first, that's like baseline stuff. And ultimately, that's what's going to affect their profit and their time. Because a lot of times agents come to me and they're already at $1 million a year, right? They're like, I want to go to 2 million. Show me how to do that. And usually with those people, it's more of like, I saw a forum the other day and they're like, being $1 million agent isn't what it's cracked up to be. I have no time. Well, if you don't have time, it's because you're not automating properly. And I guarantee there's a way to reduce your tasks in a way that you get your freaking life back, right? So whether they're brand new or whether they've been in the business forever, if you don't have your data organized properly, then that's going to affect it's going to affect your profits, and it's going to affect your time. So there's 3 scenarios that I generally see. So you probably fall into one of these buckets. One is people are like, oh, I'm too new. I don't need a database yet. What do I need a database for? I only have 12 clients, right? So let me go through them first, and I'll talk to you about what to think about. Number 2 is I already have 1,000 people in my database, right? What can I do? Like, they're already there. The data it wasn't in properly. I didn't put them with these, things that you're asking for, tags and assessing the marketing, all that. And then the other one is I have everyone in a database. Yay! Those are the ones that started properly or at some point converted to a database. But 9 times out of 10, they're underutilizing their database. So if you're using like an accelerator or test or one of these systems that hold your management, I guarantee you there's like 10 things you're not doing that you could to increase your profit and your productivity. So what can you do? Assess where you're at today. So, where am I? How many clients do I have? And then you have to research and commit to a solution. If you're brand new, I don't care if you have 0 clients. When we went online with our agency, that's the first thing I did before we opened our doors is we got the system in place and decided how we were going to track marketing clients, etc. Because if you don't have that, if you have the 1,000 clients already, then you need to transition. Like you just have to pull the trigger and make it happen. If you have paper files or Excel files, that crap is not going to work in today's marketplace because I guarantee you, like my clients are going out and they're killing it. And they're killing it because they know how to market to people, they know how to retarget people, and they know how to start the sales funnel process. But you can't do any of those things unless you take this first step. So understand where you are and where you need to go, and then implement. So, and you might say, oh, Cyndi, that's where I get stuck. I don't freaking speak tech, right? So, and I get it. Like technology is super stressful. People don't love to do it. If it's not your forte, you'll start on the project and you quit. And maybe ask yourself that too. How many times have I started to look into that? Now Cindy's telling me I should do this again. So probably after this call, I'm going to go start researching things. But then my kids are going to get home. I'm going to forget about it because it's uncomfortable. And I don't want to really, do it because I'm not comfortable. It's not your comfort zone. Like, look, if I didn't have a trainer that I had an appointment twice a week where I had to go and she kicks my ass, I would not work out. Like, I would not do it. I promise you. But I go there and she does it, right? So if you're not going to kick your own self in the butt and you're not going to commit to figuring it out, or it's too hard for you to figure out, and again, no judgment there. If I don't know how to do something, I go find someone who does and we work past it and our business grows. So if you're not already working with a mentor or coach to get this stuff done in your business, I'm going to ask you, why aren't you doing that to move yourself forward? These little changes can make a huge difference. So it'll reduce your time. It'll reduce your learning curve. You will have someone right there to help you get through the tech process, and you could be doing it in a few weeks versus putting it off another year, and then you're in a worse shape because that middle scenario of having 1,000 clients that you have to now go through and figure out what marketing buckets to put them in, trust me, that's not a fun data process to work through. So if you don't speak tech, that is what I recommend. And if you are not willing to hire a coach or mentor or do something like the Careers on Vacation program, that's perfectly fine. You need to carve out a significant amount of time to figure that shit out. You have to commit to it. You have to schedule time. You have to make sure you're going to put it on your plate. And by all means, whichever scenario, whether you're going to apply for Careers on Vacation or you're going to do it yourself, please do it before wave season. right? Because then you're going to upload a whole bunch of new clients in wave season, and once again, you get to summertime, and then you're going to have all your data in a crappy place. So whatever you do, I don't care which one, but my best advice as an expert in marketing, travel industry, all that good stuff is do it before busy season. Don't wait another busy season to go through. So those were the two top things that you guys asked me to talk about today. So hopefully we've provided some good tools. I'm going to check for questions in a second. I haven't flipping back before because we're streaming on several platforms, but I'm going to flip to Facebook in a second and see if you guys have any questions. So if you do, go ahead and pop those in now. But I want to say, if you guys have been struggling with anything in your travel business, mindset, marketing, automation, tech, all that stuff's covered in our Careers on Vacation program, so I encourage you to apply at careersonvacation.com/ready now. We have really a handful between now and the end of the year to still invite people into the program, and rates are going up in January because we sell out every single month, and we're adding some new amazing things, which all of our graduates will get as well. So even if you sign up now and start the program now, you'll be kicking it by the time wave season starts. So I encourage you to do that. Next week is another free live stream. Next week is the only live stream where we're going to do an open session where you can ask me whatever questions you want about your business. So my mastermind students get to jump on with me twice a week, show me their screen, and ask a ton of questions, and that's the format we're going to do, but for free for you guys next Wednesday. So make sure you tune in. And it is also Halloween, so I have a costume. Becky, you're welcome. It was at your request. I have my costume prepared, so get excited. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to tune in to see, but that's the last one in the Fall in Love with Your Business series as well. So, and if you guys aren't already following me on YouTube and Insta, we do other stuff over there too to support your business. All right, let me peek over on Facebook real quick and see if we have any last minute questions coming in. Otherwise, if you think of things through the week, definitely... I'm scrolling. Definitely bring your questions next week as well. Okay, you guys have to have one question. Come on. I know you have a burning question. I know it's in front of the world, but that's okay. Like, take a second and get some help for your business. Hey, Jennifer. I have lots of hearts coming in. Very sweet. All right, guys. Well, we don't have a ton of questions coming in, so I want to just encourage you guys to think about, what we talked about. Where's your, at the very beginning, Cheshire said, what time is it? 10 a.m. Central. So I live stream every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central. Yeah, so just tune in. It's on the Travel Career Coach Facebook page, and then we share it over to, it streams on YouTube later in the day, and we share it over to the Careers on Vacation group. You can catch the replay. So those are different things that are available to y'all. I forgot what I was saying now. Oh, for this week. So since the number one thing was, I found the comments. Yes. What I was saying was, you're not the only one. The reason that hearing the voice in your head of why would people book through me, that was the number one thing that people polled and said. So you're not alone. Like, remember that. And I want to just leave on that last note, like, love yourself like you love your kids or you love your partner, right? That's one of those things where it'll allow you to start giving yourself that care and love that you need to boost yourself up, feel more confident, and move forward. I'm not going to call any of my clients out. Several of them are on here, but I really want to call them out, but I'm not going to. There are several on here that they went through the program, and getting on video, and because one of the things we do is we have a video challenge and get them past some of their blocks. They did, it was hard for them. Like, they would rather go vomit in the closet than do some of the things that I asked them to do. And, but guess what? Their businesses are growing and they're starting to believe in themselves a little more. And that is a big, big deal because you guys are capable. Like I said, my purpose in life at the beginning of this call, my purpose in life is to inspire and motivate people to follow their bliss to abundance. So I can tell you all day, yes, go be a travel agent, run a travel business. It's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. But if I don't get you making money, like, what's the point? Like, it's a hobby, right? So you have to, but when I'm not there and Cindy's not next to you giving you your pep talk every 5 minutes, you have to be able to do it for yourself. So give yourself that love and care, the same love and care you extend to your children. I promise it will change. There'll be a shift in how you start to think about things. So no matter what, guys, I wish you so much love, so much abundance. Have an amazing, amazing week, and I will see you next Wednesday in costume. So I love you guys. We'll talk soon. Bye, guys.